There are also draft picks involved. JPP had 8.5 sacks last season. We're joined once again by Rod Woodson, but first, Shannon, what's your reaction?
I'm surprised. Yeah, he's 29, $12.5 million cap hit. That's not a lot of money for someone that was as productive as he was. Now, maybe the possibility that the Giants are going to be more of a 3-4 team as opposed to a 4-3 made it a lot easier to move on from JPP. Who knows? Maybe this is trying to clear some cap space for Odell, because you're going to have to do something with him. I'm sure he wants a new contract. So that's really the only thing I can think about, because I thought he played really well. Given what he's gone through over the last 2 years, learning how to play with 4 fingers, I think he's done an unbelievable job, Skip. I really do. And I'm surprised by this move.
Fire away. You know, I'm surprised, too, because I think I agree with you. I think they're moving on because they think he cannot play a 5 technique in a 3-4 outside of a defensive end. He's in a 6-7 technique outside. Right. What really benefits him. Right. I mean, he's going to play with McCoy with the Bucs. They were dead last in sacks last year. So it's going to help this guy individually, and it's going to help that football team down south. But I think as the Giants themselves, you think about since 2008 to 2013, there's no more players on their roster, excuse me. And so I'm thinking they're clearing cap space for Odell. Yeah. Odell, we know Odell loves to be that rock star. He's a great player. He's known internationally, and he wants that money. Yeah. And I think the way you move that cap space is take some of those older players, the 30, it used to be 30 years old when they got rid of players. Yeah. 29 is the new 30. Yeah. So they're starting to move players at 29 nowadays.
As usual, I got to speak as a Cowboy fan.
You glad?
I was glad. Because every game against the Giants, he scares me, JPP, because he can wreak havoc. Yeah. When he gets flying around the end, all of a sudden, he disrupts. He is difficult to game plan and difficult to sort of nullify. And he will really help that Tampa defense. And he's going to somewhere Cam and Breeze and Matt Ryan are saying, oh, God, we're going to deal with another guy. And the Giants will take a step back at that position, but the reports are, and I'm sure the way they're going is, they like Bradley Chubb out of North Carolina State, who's the new apple of everybody's combine eye because he tests great. Myles Garrett last year, I didn't love him because I watched a bunch of A&M games and I just couldn't see him jump off my screen. Right. He did some good things for Cleveland, but not great things. Right. And I watched 3 North Carolina State games. I'm just watching television, but I like to see if a guy's going to be that guy, the second pick in the draft, even when you're watching television, you should be sitting back saying, wow, look at that guy. I didn't. I watched them against Louisville, North Carolina State, and then they went to Notre Dame, and then they played at Clemson. He just didn't leap where you're saying, oh, I see that guy.
He's special.
Yeah, he's special. I don't know. But then he goes to the combine, and he runs 4.6 at 269 pounds, which is tremendous. You know?
That's moving.
No, I mean, that's great. But does that mean you're a dominant defensive end? I don't know. But I'm pretty sure they're going to go that direction, which means the Jets are going to take – we're thinking Darnold's obviously going to Cleveland. Yes. And the Jets are going to take a quarterback. I think it's going to be Baker Mayfield. Do you think it could be whatever, Josh Allen, Josh Rose? It could be any of those 3. And all of a sudden, Cleveland is going to get Saquon. And so Cleveland's going to come away with Darnold and Saquon. That's a draft. Yeah. To me.
Some good picks.
Right?
It is some good picks.
But didn't they sign Carlos Hyde? I mean,
but Carlos Hyde is not a – he is an every down back, but he's not going to be that back that's going to take your franchise to the next level.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
You know, so when you look at Pierre-Paul, when new coaching staffs come in, they have no ties to any of the players that are on that roster. Right. It's a new GM too. There's no ties to any draft picks. So you're going to move on to what you believe is not going to help you and try to bring in some new blood. Right. And you got to think, you're going to a 3-4. You got Eli Manning. Is Eli Manning going to be there? Do they take a quarterback? Do they take a defensive end? Do they take a running back? I mean, where do you go? I mean. Who's their backup quarterback for the New York Giants? Who's their future? If Odell's there and he's the highest paid receiver, who's throwing the ball to him? Eli? Forever?
I mean, I don't know what they saw. For them to make that move where they bench him and the ownership says, well, you need to get these other guys ready to play, and they make that move because it's
to Geno. Not to Webb. Yeah. We know what Geno can do.
Yeah.
It was the Webb. And now, I'm glad they did it because they played us that week. They played us that way. We said we're going to play against Geno, not Eli. Okay, well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Exactly.
But that was a head scratcher even for us in the building in Oakland.
Right. And that's the thing. But for Eli to play, and Eli could have made this a lot easier on the Giants had he just played better. But it's hard for me to believe that a quarterback can. I mean, we saw it. Now, Kurt had some down years at the Rams, and that's why they let him go. And, you know, he was the bridge guy between Eli, and then he went to the Cardinals, and then poof. So Eli might have this resurgence. But, man, not from what I've seen the last couple of years, Skip.
JPP could be a little difficult to handle, a little difficult to coach, a little tough in the locker room. So maybe Gettleman, the new GM, is trying to clear the decks, change the culture, as they say. They're going to stick with Eli, but they're just going to try to change. And again, I'm with you. $12 million.
That's not a lot.
That's a pretty good buy for JPP.
Yeah, that's not a lot of money for a guy that gave you 8.5 sacks.
And I believe he could play a 5 technique
I do.
in a 3-4. But they believe that he's not suited for it. And for JPP himself, it's better suited for him to go to the Bucs because he has better players around him for him to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, that 5 technique you need to lock out. Well, if you ain't got no thumb, it's kind of hard for you to lock out with just 4. I mean, they factor all that in because that's what a 5 technique is mainly. In that defense, you got to lock that tackle down, and you know, because you play in 2 gaps, you got to shed one way, shed the other. But he got 8.5 sacks with those 4 fingers, so I believe he could adapt and learn how to lock out. But hey, 4-3. Get to the quarterback. This is really much. He's suited better for a 4-3 as opposed to a 3-4. But I believe he could play a DN in the 3-4 defense.
So the NFC East has come down to a 2-team race next year. It's just Cowboys and Eagles with the Cowboys.
Whoa.
They have a little edge.
No, they don't.
They have an edge over the Eagles?
Sure.
I know you're a Cowboy fan, but getting Michael Bennett, that's unfair.
They got a Lodi Nada on top of all. But guess who else they have? They got Nick Foles. They got a quarterback quandary.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No. Walk it to him. Walk it to him.
What are you going to do with Foles?
We're going to do what he was doing. What did he start last year? On the bench.
On the back. He's a backup.
Yeah. Wait until Carson Wentz throws his first interception.
I don't care if he throws
listen
10.
to him boo.
Listen
to him. We want Foles. We want Foles. And we in Dallas
want
Foles, too.
And if he's not careful, he'll be right up there with him in the stands chanting, we want Foles. We want Foles.
Rod, thanks for joining us. Is Johnny Manziel on his way back to the NFL? We'll discuss that next.